What is good, my Impact Wrestling fan? Welcome to another edition of TNAIW Reaction right here on the TNAIW channel. My name is Geoff, and I want to thank you for pressing play and rock with me yet again, for hitting like and subscribe, and continuing to rock with us on a weekly basis. We got some shows coming out, obviously. Tuesdays are Go-Go Power Rings with Lucha, Datila, and Bert. I think Tuesdays we're also at 420 going to go back to releasing LOL Trinity, this time Season 3. Really excited about that. It's always a good time, and that's kind of the gist of all of this. Is we love you guys, we appreciate you. The numbers climbing. You know, our only goal here is to whatever amount of videos we have, that's the amount of subscribers. I think we're 4 off. I think we have 416 videos after this, so make sure you hit subscribe, get us to that 416, and keep us level. But this is one fan at a time, one friend at a time. It always has been. Because this is about interacting, about growing the Impact Wrestling community, talking, shooting the shit, and talking some wrestling, having a good time. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to hit on all the pinpoints. I'm a little under the weather. I don't know if you can hear. I'm always, nasally. But we're going to talk over things, hit some points, and try to do it on a more, I don't know. I'm just sick of trying to cover shit. There's enough review shows of people talking like paint drying on the wall, talking about the match by match. You don't need one more. So I'm gonna keep it light, keep it airy, and keep that nonsense going, I guess is what I'm getting at. But we'll get to your comments as well. We're going to talk about Impact on Access TV. We are going to hit every match by match, like myself. Hit up the ratings. Talk about the possibility of Sami exiting, PCO definitely exiting, Okada's comments that gave me a chuckle, and then, of course, your comments, which hit the WWE Releases and beyond. So I'll hit a little bit of everything, but I do rely on your guys' comments, so make sure you leave comments, and I'll make sure I hit it up week to week, even if there is a time in between where we're hitting up the live podcast, which we will be doing again right after Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory shaping up. We'll talk about that as well, but let's not waste any more time shooting the details. Let's get into the thick of things. We're going to start Impact with, of course, BTI from my standpoint. Love Josh Matthews and Gia Miller, what they do there. Good recap if you're not a week-to-week fan, or you're not, you're in your phone half the time. So it helps a bunch of ways. But it also features some Iceman intel, which is someone on the show tonight might be interested in staying with the company long-term. That's not a regular, so that's interesting. And we always have a match, which I got to see this in person. I don't know if I mentioned that already. But this is still episode 1000, part dos there. That was a one-day taping that I went to. You could see me right in back of Hurricane with the yellow hat next to the guy with the yellow TNA shirt, or the white TNA shirt. Yeah, look at us dancing and being stupid. But BTI is going to feature MK Ultra defeating Death Dolls in a tag team championship match. MK Ultra still rocking the belts. And then the first match we're going to open up to here, which, of course, in person, it wasn't taped in this order. But really cool to see. I was interested in this because there was definite TNA chants in here. And last week we kind of thought that maybe they tapered them out. More on that later when we get to the Team 3D gimmick. But shout out to Tom, the voice of Impact Wrestling, of course, who get mentioned the TNA chants. And I know we could go back and forth and shoot the shit on that. To me, it's as simple as Charlotte Bobcats, Charlotte Hornets, if you're a basketball fan. But I also believe we don't really have an identity, to be honest. And if our identity is the past and we're not getting over the hump under this branding, there's my point. But we'll find an identity. Maybe it's in the past, because right now we're on Ultimate X50. And Alan Angels, the Celestial one, I'm behind this guy. There are things that I think we all could say he needs to do as watchers of the show. Who are we? But to get over that hump, to be taken seriously out of VBD and to be taken seriously as something else. And I think there's ways to go. Obviously, he's got to grow in the character, and we got to, it's got to develop. He's getting X Division title shot next week, but you could tell, man, from the work to his body, to the gear, to bell, this kid wants it. Once again, maybe backstage he does it at all, and I'm full of shit. But it seethes through the TV. And that's all you can ask for. And he's going to get the X here, man, which is really cool. He defeats Wentz, Swan, Austin, Kalisto, or Samurai FKA, Samurai, no, vice versa, Samurai Del Sol, and Mike Bailey. And this sets up, as I said, Angels versus Saban next week, so that'll be cool. Next, after that, is Jake Something defeating Dango. And a lot on this. There's a little shenanigans here with Alpha Bravo causing Dango the match a little bit. And I said before, man, I would love if Alpha Bravo switched just to Jake Something. I think you got a really charismatic, all-around, complete dude in Dango. And Jake Something, who's still trying to get, I don't say trying to get, because he's got his feet under him. He's a legit person, but to get him over that hump, to put him past just being Jake Something, it wouldn't hurt to have I use the reference of Judge Jeff Jones, who would accompany Mike Awesome. Didn't do much on the stick, didn't do anything of that, but was a presence, was a hype man, and I don't think that could hurt. Especially with a heel run for Jake Something. I think that's always it might be a crutch, but it's a good place to start, and I think he's over with as a face, but hey, let's shoot him to the moon is what I think we should do. So there's the miscue there, and then the FoxBox rules. Here's some I never knew. I never knew it was called the FoxBox, because to me as a 90s, because the FoxBox is the block of cartoon television on Saturday morning. So that it was ever called this, I called it FSN overlay. But yeah, blew my mind when I heard that. But I do like the presence of it as a June 19th, 2002, man. Watching, 1 p.m. is when I used to get it. I think that's what I feel like on FSN. Seeing this was nice. I thought it took a little bit too much off the top, which I didn't enjoy. But, the ticker, Chase Stevens. I texted Lucia during this because he had said the FoxBox. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then I was like, oh, shit. You're right. But Chase Stevens, I guess he was, he's the judge if it doesn't, it goes to a time limit draw. But he's doing all this extra. He's so extra. And I was like, who the hell is he talking to? What is the point of this? And Lucha said Andy Douglas, which I thought was wonderful. So point for Lucha. But good to see Chase Stevens, part of the Naturals, on there, sure. But so much going on and a lot of, yeah. Anyways, Rhino gores Macklin after Macklin has a Macklin promo in the back, which I always love, man. But Rhino says that to Santino, he's going to keep getting more. It's on Macklin. Cool. Rhino also a new producer, or has been a producer, at least that made the sheets this week. And now here's a match that I was excited about for you guys to see, because we're spoiler free. It goes on to when we talk about Bound for Glory later as well. Anything else on here? But this match, we dropped hints that it was going to expand. And I think I actually ended up saying it was going to be 4-on-4. And this was something that, pacing of it, of course, sucked. You're going to have the quick DQ. Right? That's, it is what it is. But it got us to a cool place, and I really didn't mind. It got Shark Boy out there. Shell, yeah, he was there. You could see us doing that if you're looking for us on a hard cam there. But we get the addition of Sheldon and VBD. Looks like Sheldon got a surgery on the thing. I don't know what it was, if it's, who knows, but hopefully he's healthy and it's good and it wasn't anything serious. But yeah, man. So just something I noticed. Diener and them are coming out because they still hate EY. EY and Scott, of course, came out as Team Canada somewhat. I love to hear the music. I love when Scott takes it serious. Man, he's like goes right back into that character. I know that sounds... Of course he's that character. But I don't know, man. It just brings me back. And then AMW coming out, man. And I was actually talking to Luch about this too. If they stick around, I don't know, man. I know it's nostalgia, but it's not offensive. And I know that sounds whatever, but sometimes you get those vets that come back and they do the wave and they come out, do their thing. It didn't feel like that during the match, in person or here. And I don't know, always been a mark for them as a team. But they're going to pick up the victory after a sky high from Scott and a pile driver from EY on Sheldon Jeans. Next up, I don't know if this is where the Team 3D replay did. I already mentioned my TNA shtick. I'm not going to beat that drum. I still think we need an identity. And 8 Miling is the best. But guys, I don't know. Is it just me? But when they showed Team 3D and they chopped that up because they obviously didn't want us to chant ECW or TNA. Got it. Cool. I know there's a lot of, if they're pushing, especially with the SmackDown deal, there's going to be a lot of TV, cable TV, which is dead in a lot of eyes, but still money, and could be needed money to put it elsewhere, be it re-signing people, growing the look of everything, the marketing, whatever, the venues, but the gear, give some coupons to the guys in the back. So I know there's different reasons why they could have kiboshed. I know I'm jumping all over, but I'll get to it. The identity thing, that's what I said. I know there's something else I wanted to say about it. And I know there's a lot of, trust me, I know there's a lot of 50, 60-year-old TV execs in cable who are not really on touch, but so they're going to probably just get their whatever people to feel the pulse and everything. And, TNA bad. Okay. So I understand the brand still, whatever. But anywho, the point is, if we don't bring it back ever, if they never mention, they scrub it clean, they can't talk about it, they can talk about the history, but okay, I'll deal with it. I already said, this is watching for me is watching an ex-wife with her new husband. I already feel like that's what Impact is. But this is Impact. Might be one of the worst chants in the history of ever. It is so... When they showed the clip of Team 3D and then they show the audience and everyone's offbeat. Guys, ugh. I'd rather have, like I said, eat the tea, and that's why I say I'd rather 8 Mile and be the, hey, we're the rebels, we're the misfits, let's eat it, than be the, we're just Impact Wrestling, and we don't have an identity, and that is not it. I know a lot of you like it, and it's nothing, look, no hatred whatsoever, obviously, guys, this is just wrestling, but it's kind of a lot of whack. All right. I digress. All right. Feast or Fired is next up. Speaking of history and TNA and all that stuff, Feast or Fired's making its 9th appearance, I believe. We already had the match. Obviously, this is going to be the reveal. I loved everything about this reveal. I thought it played well. It was timed well. And I know it's, once again, one of those things that are just simple, of course. It's not everything's that easy. Impact makes a lot of things look easy that aren't, I feel at least, especially when you don't have the big budget. And I thought this was nicely done, man. It's these little big things. They obviously had Steve go first. He gets the DM seeds as his dreamer thing, plays off that character, which I thought was interesting. No X, makes sense. Angels just won that. So I like that. I like that as well. So surprise there for me, but cool to see Steve get the DMC. I like where his character's going. And, for someone who I think can reach a next level, I think a belt like that could help him. And once again, that belt's lineage continues in a good pattern. Next up was Moose. Moose's answer was probably I don't know, it wasn't the best thing out of it, but he's like, but yeah, what they said or whatever. I don't know. It just popped me. And I don't know if he meant it too, but the reaction to this, the reaction from Moose, the reaction from Myers, and I thought this was great, man. And Moose gets a world title shot. I said on the show last week, I said, wonder if Moose gets that tag title, and they do that how he won against Josh by cashing in and call your shot. Wonder if he does that with tag in the Feast or Fired briefcase. But he got a world title, which is interesting. We're going to jump ahead really quick, but obviously Josh is going to be facing Alex Shelley in the main event for Bound for Glory for the belt he never lost. But you have Moose looming with that briefcase. Will history repeat itself? We shall see. So I thought that was really cool. And then ABC getting the tag shot. Once again, the little big things. And Chris Bay's reaction while he's saying his piece, yet realizing, oh shit, that's Yuya, but not really selling it because, they're too cool, too sweet. And walking away. I thought this was, and then from Hendry and Yuya's emotion, Yuya wearing the Impact shirt, you knew this was going to happen. But, man, look, I thought this was all nicely done. And with them going and kind of shortening their team that they're going to be using, him most likely going back during this excursion at some point. I thought the timing was is unfortunate because Joya is. I mean, my daughter literally says, "Sing it, Dad," and I know that means sing the Joya song so she could dance to it. I'm legit. She's too legit, man. Is that an MC Hammer reference? Jesus. Treehouse. What's going on, guys? All right. But, yeah, I loved everything about this. It sucks for Yuya because especially they're hitting their stride with that. And, you know, maybe we see him back around. It's not obviously a real firing. He works in New Japan. That's where, you know, he's no longer a young lion. So I said it from the get-go. These are the kind of relationships, and maybe leaving on a high is a good thing. We'll get to Okada's comments later. But when you invest, the same with Sonata, in just doing a business relationship well and treating someone else's talent well, it comes back. And I do think Yuya is a future ace in that company. So to have him come back will be even better when he does. But moving on, Josh defeating Trey, two homegrown guys, man, who I love watching. Speaking of the Rascals, obviously, but Josh defeats him here. Shelly going to make the save, kind of an attack, or at least even the odds, be the equalizer here. And then we lock in the Bound for Glory main event. So Josh versus, we're not getting our Bound for Glory series, we're not getting anything, whatever, but we're getting something that is full circle and makes sense. And it's not like it's it's Josh versus Shelly. Oh, shit. I mean, it's Josh versus Shelly. So I'm excited to see that, man. And for some reason, I forgot that this promo happened because I think I even asked 2 weeks ago or last week. It was last week with Johnny. If he remembered them settling it, but they obviously had, and I just forgot. So that's cool. And then we're going to follow this right up with Ospreay versus Bayley finally, or getting confirmed, finally going to happen because we had the injury to Ospreay prior. Impact fishing for the 5-star match, and you're starting with Josh versus Shelly, Ospreay versus Bayley as your first 2 announced matches. It's got to come. It's got to come. But who does it matter? It matters to us for bragging, sure, I guess. At the end of the day, I think Kurt Angle doesn't have one. I don't know why I'm speaking to this, but who gives a shit? We're going to talk about the ratings in a second. Who gives a shit? What did we feel about those matches? Did they leave a lasting impression in a world where everything's oversaturated and we have so much on our plates to watch or consume? Does it resonate? That's how I will garner 5-star or not, and we'll see. And some guy who has one particular taste is not going to be, I don't know. I'm just not going to take the steak eater's opinion on the vegan restaurant. You know what I mean? Anyways, I guess you should take everyone's, but whatever. I digress. So we're going to get a little backstage after this because Gresham's back after injury. Shout out to Dobby the Brain Heenan who smartened me up on that. So Gresham was out for a bit for injury after starting up his rules thing. And he says he's going to climb his way back, and it's going to start with the match against Bayley, as Bayley chose to happen. And I'm for it, man. I'm sure, and I don't even read the comments because I know they just get me irritated, but they've worked a lot together, and I don't care. I don't care. I will watch this match for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm excited to see them wrestle next week. And then we're going to get another funny and perfectly timed promo, man. Skylar backstage confirming that they were hired or, lured by the Rascals in a title defense if they help out kind of thing. So that's confirmed. And ABC was there originally. Let me start with that. Rascals are there originally. Skylar comes in to confirm that for us, but they're kind of blowing them off still. And then ABC is going to come in, overhear it, and the Rascals slip out as they're arguing over it. But as a result, we're going to get ABC versus Good Hands in a strap match from Memphis, which, hell yeah, all right. And then last but not least is the KO 5-on-5 Legends matchup, man. The match of matches for the knockouts. I think this Mickie coined it the greatest knockouts match or biggest knockouts match in history, and rightfully so. I mean, from who's on the outside to who's on the inside and what was done in between, I thought this was great. I did not in person realize that Gail got got a concussion. So that's unfortunate. But watching it on the thing, I had to rewind. I was like, holy shit. Like, I remember her dropping, but there's rows of people in front of us. But damn, for her to come back in and still perform the way the best. Looks the best, is the best. My love for Gail Kim cannot be hidden. And the toughness there is insane for us not to notice, at least from in person. Savannah and Kong had a moment. I saw some comments about, they should have let her have her moment at Savannah. Look, chokeslamming Kong is not just a moment you have. That's a launching point. And I thought this was good enough for where she is now. Once again, I would love to see her reach that level. But we'll see, man. I think she has the look. I think she has the presence. We'll see where it goes. But I thought that moment in general felt big and it felt cool. And good on them for making sure that happened. So did it need to result in her getting the 1-up? Not yet, because that's a big-ass deal. If next week she goes back to having a tag match on BTI and picking up the pinfall, do you really want her to be chokeslamming Kong in her last match back? Or whatever, however you want to word it. I don't know. I'm trying to read my crappy font, or my crappy handwriting. Vidal. Oh, yeah, Jay Vidal with the bag on his head. That's good shit. And Angelina Love, man. So first of all, it was great to see everyone back. Tasha back looking phenomenal. Mickie looking at that belt when they're raising that hand, right? That was interesting. I'm spoiler free, but I think that's the path they should go, or it looks to be that the way they're going. She, once again, just like Josh, never lost the title. So a lot of good stuff coming out of this. Really enjoyed it. If it's the beautiful people back, I'm okay. I don't know. I'm okay. That'd be great. Sure. Whoever it is, that Iceman was hitting at. But regardless, Angelina Love appears on ROH. ROH is okay. If you watch it, I don't. And that's not a slight against. It's just too much. I got my 86 minutes of TV for wrestling a week, and this is someone who watched ROH from day one. Do I know the day it started? No, not like I do TNA. But I love ROH, but not watching. At the same time, Angelina Love, if you were watching, was on there before she main evented Impact. Now, I don't hate anyone, so I'm not going to use that word. But if I were to say I despise a little bit of Tony Khan's LDE, he's got a lot of little dick energy. And I know you could say, oh no, he didn't even know that she was going to be on Impact later, or it doesn't matter, she's a free agent, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I get it. But this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, where they can't let a storyline play out in Impact out of respect. I know these people are professionals and they're not owed anything to Impact, so I know it's also on Angelina. But it's kind of grimy, right? It's not getting it's not. Never mind. I mean, it's not getting it in catering kind of grimy, but it's grimy. They do this with, we could list a bunch of people, and I'm sure you guys will in the comments, but, just reeked a little dick energy. But, hey, she's got to make hers, and she does. I don't know if she's there permanently or not, but she was in the main event, and she killed it, and I love Angelina Love. But I digress. As far as the show, I thought this was good. Last week I rated 8.5. I don't know if I gave a shout out to the opening here, but once again, that music and the look and how they integrated everything, I thought that was great. Thought the FoxBox thing was great as well. Yeah, man, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good execution, a really easily digestible while still navigating through nostalgia and the future. I thought it was good shit. So I'm going to stick in that range. I'll give it a 8.45. Suck it, Mel. Suck it, Dave. But anyways, no more time on that. What did you guys think? The ratings here stayed pretty much even. You know how I feel about the Nielsen ratings. 44,000 people or households aren't going to speak for the 350 million in the United States. It is what it is. But people care, and they stayed pretty much flat. So, you know. But first up, we're going to hit up PCO giving his notice October 30th. He goes, and I imagine he's going to walk his way right into ROH on that platform and have a good time. So good for him. Look, I like PCO. I made a sign for him because that means I really liked him. Like the character, but I did say at a certain point, you know, more recently, it's just go through something, get up, no sell, duh, and if the crowd doesn't cheer, then it looks like you wasted a no sell. So like the character, you know, but best of luck. So, what do you guys feel? I mean, look, it's I don't like speaking negative because I enjoy him. I want him to make as much money in this business that he can. I think he has a lot to offer. The character is great. The presentation is great. And I'm sure someone like Tony on ROH will know what to do with him. And I thought what we did with him while he was here was good. But sometimes you just come to a point. And speaking of that, Sami's up next. Sami may or not be expiring. You know, look, I think the world of Sami's brain. I think he's a great brander. I think he's a very intelligent human being. From the little I've not interacted, but what you see from his Uncensored show and all the things, and obviously his promotion, which I know is a bunch of hands, but he's the man, right? So I think he has a lot to offer. The issue is, and, you know, I know the booking for him is probably plateaued until they figure out if he's staying or whatever. I know he's also a dude, regardless of this, even if he's in the company for another 15 years, that doesn't need a belt to thrive. So it doesn't matter where he's at. But at the same time, I just want Sami, I don't know, man. I just feel like we're getting to a point where he's Moxley-ish, and I say that, and I like John, but boom, boom, bow, it's right. It's I want to see a good run out of Sami. I want to see him lean out a little bit. I want him get him to having those banger of matches. This is a dude who came to, and this is no offense to him, this is the offense to the offense of the company and where the state it was. He came out to zero crowd giving a shit. He was the first person to, and I say this, cross the line of what Impact Wrestling was going to become after the shit smearing it had dealt with. So I will give him all the respect, and once again, I love him. I love him so much. But I would love if he just had some fire in him and just crushed it. If he signs, he re-signs, or wherever he goes, just takes it seriously. I'll not say takes it seriously. I'm sure he does. But mind, body, and spirit. Go for it. Because this is the dude who I think with a little tweaking and a little fire and a little focus would be he's of course he could be world champion. But I want him to be, anyways. Love Sami, hope he stays. But it seems like we talked about with Heath, we talked about it with PCO. Sometimes people's time comes to an end, and as much as it sucks, they're going to make money elsewhere. They're going to have careers still because they're all talented people. Of course, we would prefer, especially Sami, for it to be here. But if that time comes, the silver lining is there's a lot of budget opening up. And we're going to get to the releases in just a moment. But I want to hit on everything else. Okada saying his comments. I'll talk on that quickly because, look, as someone who has wrongfully shit on them for blaming the Okada thing on our relationship, I think the blame for that goes more towards the Team 3D and British Invasion belt handling situation, amongst other things, maybe the Okada to a lighter extent too. But as someone who was so angry about how they treated Okada, I think there were not articles. I'm old. Interviews where he's mentioned in the past that he doesn't hate on TNA. He was a young lion and he had to get his foot in the door and he was da-da-da-da. So I think he's, changing his tune for the sake of Oh, they have a match coming up against 3 Impact guys. Come on, guys. All you people that bought that hook, line, and sinker. I couldn't even look at it. I think I went on Twitter for one moment and I saw that and I just had to get the hell off. Because he's just selling tickets, man. He's selling some heat. And he's facing 3 Impact people. Of course, he's going to say some shit and buy into that narrative. He don't give a shit. He's mentioned that years ago he didn't give a shit. And look what he's at. If he's at what, 20, late 20s, early 30s, I don't know where he's at, 30s, we'll say, for just to be safe. Probably a multimillionaire, respected in his craft, and if he's still harboring hate towards a company that gave him a 3-month run as a Green Hornet knockoff character, bro, touch some grass. And I don't think that's the case, but it's funny that everyone else needs to touch some grass too. Also, EC3 and Russo's 1,000 episode comments. Look, as someone who's obviously a TNA mark, would love for EC3 to come back. I said that's my would be the greatest thing for me on earth, is if he came back, just back to trouble, and act like nothing was going on, did the moves and all that. I would love for EC3 to come back. I'm personally wouldn't even mind if Vince Russo came back. We're actually going to book a TNA reunion on LL TNA this season, and I'd probably put Russo on there once again if produced, and he was a character. But they're mentioning, oh, they don't want me on they didn't contact me. Guys, I just went through the matches. We went through the matches last week. They're just getting their names in the headlines. Okay? And it worked. Obviously, I'm talking about it because this is the show they wanted to be talked about on. But look, who else wasn't there? No, there was great people that did come. Great people that were invited. This wasn't a reunion show. This wasn't let's put our whole budget for the 52 weeks into one episode and bring back everyone. Let's ask WWE for AJ. Maybe they did. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, EC3 and Russo were the only ones not asked. Everyone else was asked and said no, thank you. But EC3 and Russo, I love them both. And last but not least, let's get into your comments because I want to hit those up. Of course, keep them coming in. Good guy, always enjoy watching Impact. That's awesome. Gary, great show as always, guys. Loved Impact 1000, gave it an 8.5. I have another CM Punk opponent. Yeah, we mentioned our 3 if he were to come, who we'd want. He said for you, Eddie Edwards, 2 ROH guys would be a good one. Yes, very good. Also, Rich Swann would be in the Ultimate X match. Yeah, he was, and I forgot that. Thank you. Thank you, Gary, for watching as usual, hitting likes and all that, and been subscribing since forever, so I thank you. And your comments. Always love reading them and hearing your opinion. CM Punk one, yes. Eddie Edwards for sure. Love the episode 1000 as well. Sky's Blur, what's up, buddy? It was cool seeing all the past KOs and current KOs in a match, and the Ultimate X was entertaining as well. I know some Impact fans will talk about what ex-WWE talent should Impact bring in, and honestly, Leon is the only talent that Impact should sign. She's really good, but the rest just don't really stand out much, but just my opinion. Fair point. I don't know, once again, as I said with the Sami thing, or the PCO thing, or the ratings thing. These are opinions. Feel free to disagree. And that's the point of all this. Leave a comment and tell me. Respectfully. But as far as the releases and being, cognizant of the fact that budget is something we still have to remember. I know you guys are pushing that we're billionaire things. Okay. Sure. But we still have to, we're dealing with the red and black, and keeping this business afloat as they have done, Anthem has done, which I love. We have stability for the first time in decades. I don't even know if we ever had stability. Well, 2008 and 9. But we have to be smart, right? We can't just throw the bank at anyone. And of course, Tony, as we mentioned before, can't throw the bank at anyone. He could throw the bag at everybody. So it's going to be a mix. You have to find people who either want to reinvent themselves, who want to just a prominent place on the card so they can develop more, or develop what their new shtick is going to be, or they're, reinvent, or just get some fire behind them, or people who just want to do it for the art. But you're not going to get the person who is going to want a bidding war for their talents. A Mustafa Ali, who, look, I don't watch enough to make an opinion that's not just brushstroke. Okay, so I can't speak on that to Leon or Leon. I don't even know who that is, but I believe you. There's a lot of people, Emma, who's been around before here. Elias and his brother, his brother Ezekiel. I think he's available now. Aaliyah, Ziggler, Riddle, Shelton Benjamin, I imagine, being a producer. I just don't know. Well, I know for sure there's no tomorrow game changers. I think we can agree on that. And that's not a slight. It's just tomorrow. Who is anymore, right? But we could use someone who would want to come in, contribute, be a team player, good for the locker room, isn't going to kill the budget, and is worth the value that they ask for. And as I was saying earlier, it's a two-way street, so they got to also want Impact. Of course I would love Ziggler to come in. One, I would like to see him wrestle under not that name. Two, I don't think he wants a full-time schedule. Of course, AEW can offer that and more money. Gotcha. But it just, I don't know, man. Could there be in a list of this, and I'm selling them short because I don't know them, like a Leon. Could there be another EC3 in there who comes over as NXT person who's barely talked about? Eli Drake. We have a knack for bringing some people in and them shining more in here. Micah goes off to New Japan. Eli Drake comes in and now he's LA Knight. EC3 had his, rise from perfume dude or whatever the hell it was on NXT to killing it in as EC3. So I think that's more the kind of person that would be an asset for Impact, and that would make the most sense. And you could say guaranteed they're going to come in. But would it be cool bringing in a Ziggler who just wants to make a difference or have some, good matches? Of course. Do I think that will be his first option? I don't know the dude. But just take that in mind when you guys fantasy buy and sell and whatever you want to do in the roster. But yeah, I don't think there's one right now that I would, trip over myself to get. At the same time, I don't watch enough of their stuff to say, oh, that person's a diamond in the rough. But I will say this, as much shit as throughout here or, everywhere in between that Impact does get for different little things, picking out and getting the best out of talent is something they excel at. And I don't think there's any denying that, okay? So we'll see where it goes. I could keep talking forever, but I hope I hit up on all the points you guys wanted. Those were our comments, so give me some more for next time. I'd appreciate that, and I appreciate answering them. And every time, why, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm going to be honest. Been doing a lot, guys. It's a lot that I wish I could share with you, and I will share soon some of it. But keep watching everything else on this channel, supporting everybody. Looking out for LOL TNAIW coming up in October. Look out for Go Power Rankings on Tuesdays. And every Sunday I'll put something out for you guys, at least to stay in touch until, further notice. But keep enjoying Impact, keep spreading the word, keep inviting new Impact fans in. And look forward to a very successful Bound for Glory. Some good things that I didn't mention, I can't mention, because we're spoiler free, coming out. Some good matches coming on. And of course, Ospreay versus Bayley, Josh versus Shelly. So guys, keep watching Impact, keep spreading the word. Love you guys. Thank you. Oh, check out once again, it's not time sensitive, but we have the TNA 2K series with Lucha and myself. If you like video, if you like WWE 2K kind of series things, and then of course the G's Trivia House, which is a TNA to Impact walk down nostalgia lane, memory lane. And it's 25 questions, up to 50 points. Play along. I'll walk you through. It's a good time. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. We're hitting about the 40 mark. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you. Hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.